Steve Jobs was not born into comfort. Adopted by a humble family, he grew up questioning the world around him. From a young age, he showed a restless mind, always curious, always inconformist. He wasn't the best student, nor the most disciplined, but he was different, saw the world not for what it was, but for what it could be. And this vision, this almost irrational belief that he could change everything, would become his greatest legacy. He dropped out of college, a decision that could have been seen as failure, but Steve saw freedom, free to learn what truly fascinated him. He attended typography classes, explored electronics, and experimented with design. It was in this freedom that he discovered the aesthetic sensitivity and technological passion that would shape Apple's DNA. His path was far from linear, but every step was guided by his intuition, the same one that would one day transform how we communicate, work, and live. In a garage alongside his friend Steve Wozniak, he built the first Apple computer. They didn't have money, structure, or support, but they had passion. They believed they could place a computer in every home, at a time when that seemed absurd. With creativity and boldness, they challenged the giants of the time and created something completely new. Apple wasn't just a company, it was a revolution in the making. Success came fast. Apple grew exponentially. Steve Jobs became a symbol of innovation, but his personality, intense, demanding perfectionist, caused friction. And in a surprising twist, he was fired from the very company he had created. For many, it would be the end. For Steve, it was a beginning. He was hurt, but he never lost his vision. Created next a company that focused on the future. And he bought Pixar, a small animation studio that would later make history with Toy Story. His time away from Apple was not wasted. It was a phase of transformation. Years later, Apple was on the brink of collapse. They did the unthinkable. They asked Steve to return. When he came back, he didn't just rescue the company, he reinvented it. He launched the iMac, then the iPod, iTunes, the iPhone, and the iPad. Each product wasn't just a technological leap, it was a cultural event. Steve Jobs had become more than an entrepreneur. He was a visionary shaping the future. But behind the success, his health was deteriorating. A rare cancer began to consume his body, but not his mind. Even weakened, he continued to work, present, inspire. His famous speeches moved audiences. In one of them, he said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." It was more than advice. It was his way of being. Steve Jobs passed away in 2011, but his legacy lives on in every device. In every idea that challenges the norm, in every person who dares to think differently. His story teaches that failure is not the end, that rejection can be the beginning, and that the power of an idea can transform the world. Because in the end, those who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.